magnesium as well. So you're going to need to make sure you keep that high, the levels of magnesium topped up as well. Magnesium is also important for the heart, and actually a lack of magnesium can be associated with arrhythmia, because obviously the magnesium is actually helpful in terms of the electrical stimulation in the heart as well. Epsom salts in a bath is probably a fairly old school thought. It still reigns true. About sort of 300 grams of the Epsom salts in a bath. Obviously, the bath's brilliant because it will improve blood flow. So if you're somebody who suffers with poor circulation, that's going to help you as well. And I've tried magnesium oil, and I rub it directly into the site, because what it's all about having a sort of a barrier, if you like. So where the barrier is, whether it be the skin, you want a difference between the two. Okay, so a gradient, so that can pass through. So obviously on the skin, there shouldn't be any magnesium, and then if you've got like an area that's depleted, just rub it straight into the skin and it will pass through. If you're just going to use it for a sleep aid, maybe just go for an oral supplementation. So that's just a little bit on a couple of those. Obviously, like with any of these things, you know, if you feel that you should definitely consult your doctor and maybe get a blood test if you feel that you are depleted in these things. But magnesium for me is kind of a go-to. Like you're not gonna, you can overdose on it, but you know, you'd have to go crazily above the RDA, and you wouldn't do that if you just followed the instructions. So doctors to get a blood test is always a good idea. Sunlight exposure. So those of you probably have heard of vitamin D. You know, natural light is obviously the best source, not through a window. It needs to hit the eyes and hit the skin. Fish oils, egg yolks are great, and eggs and egg yolks is another topic. I've written an article on that if you want to know a bit more about eggs and actually the truth about that. Vitamin D is essential for bone development and calcium metabolization. So the two go together. So calcium and vitamin D are kind of interlinked. Natural light is the best source, as I said. And one thing just to be aware of, if you are somebody who suffers with Crohn's or celiac, celiacs actually have a little bit more of a problem uptaking vitamin D. So sort of sun exposure through synthetic means, that is in the gut. So sun exposure is massively important to them. But again, with this one here, blood tests, and I had blood tests done, and I found that whilst I was training for the Ironman last year, I had a slight deficiency in vitamin D3 and vitamin E because of the high cell turnover. Vitamin E is responsible for the cell wall and repair of the cell wall. So again, another fat soluble vitamin in there. So sunlight exposure, vitamin D, massively important. In terms of your energy levels, okay, so if you're somebody who suffers with sort of maybe low serotonin, then getting plenty of vitamin D on board is going to help you there. Anything else on those? I think that would be fine. So sunlight, yeah. So number 6, getting plenty of colour variety into your diet. So your nutrition. So you're looking at avoiding. I'm not talking about Haribo and all those kind of things. We're looking at plenty of colour into the diet. To help with antioxidant and growth and repair, again, of the cells. Constantly repairing, our body is always repairing, and so obviously the more we can help it with that, the better. So it's actually the phytochemicals within the phytonutrients within the foods that are going to help you with this. So, you know, for instance, just look at, say, an orange and a yellow food, carrots, yellow peppers, those kind of things. They contain carotenoids, which are helpful for eye health. The freshness of these is obviously really important. As food starts to degenerate, the antioxidant levels will drop significantly. So keeping the foods fresh is good. You know, things like heat treatment and tinning of foods. That's why I'm not massive on those kind of things, because obviously they are also then added with salt sometimes to preserve it. Also, it's gone through heat treatment, so you lose a lot of those sort of nutrients when you do that. In fact, if you heat treat your food, you're pretty much, or pressure cook it, you're pretty much losing it all of the antioxidants within that. So raw is best. That's why you'll find, like in a lot of my nutrition, very lightly steamed I'll try to eat raw foods. I recommend raw foods to clients all the time, full of energy, full of live enzymes in there. So you've got different colours, like red foods tend to improve blood flow and help decrease blood pressure, increase iron production, and actually reducing the effects of arthritis as well, obviously because of the improved blood flow to the site. Combining red foods with green foods is a great thing to do, and that's a separate topic, but alkaline and acidic foods, okay, and red meats tend to be pretty acidic, okay, but if you combine them with green foods, that can help to reduce the acidity, and obviously you're getting a lot of benefit from those red foods, for example, red meat. Plenty of benefits from those. With green foods, tend to be more alkaline, high in fibre, vitamin C, and again helping to reduce carcinogenic materials, which we may absorb through a variety of different environments, or unfortunately through some foods as well. So white foods, kind of important for your natural natural white foods, important for your hormones, and it might surprise you to know that like things like cauliflower have high levels of vitamin C. And we always tend to think of citrus foods, colourful citrus foods for that. Blue foods tend to help with improved memory and cell health, so things like blueberries and prunes and those kind of things. Really, really good for that. And orange foods, as you're probably well aware, like things like carrots, contain carotene, helpful for cholesterol as well. So colourful foods, get them in your diet. Just try to have something green, something colourful, in every meal. So whether it be berries for breakfast, whether it be red peppers, stuffed with different meats at lunchtime, and whether it be in the evening, maybe you're having your steamed broccoli and vegetables, your carrots in there as well. So just try to get plenty of colour from natural foods within your nutrition. And the last thing, number 7, I was going to say, is just kind of improving your snacks. So I think a lot of people struggle with snacks. That's why I've written a snack book. I've written a list of snacks for clients. We're on the go. We don't want to eat a massive amount of food, but we want to have something that's going to give us energy and keep us going. If we're busy and we're doing different bits and pieces throughout the day, and we haven't really got time to kind of sit down with a knife and fork. So for me, like my go-to snacks sometimes, a handful of almonds and some blueberries, just to keep me going. Sometimes I'll have like some smoked salmon. I might just have that with an apple, or I might even combine it with like some, maybe some like a salad that's already been kind of cut. So even just some like carrots, like small carrots, something like that. Just so I can eat nice and easily. Sometimes if I'm out and about, I'll have and what I tend to do with that smoked salmon, those kind of things, I'll just have like a, if I'm at the studio, I'm in the office, I've got like a little seasoning like sort of rub thing, and some like spices. I just sort of in a little jar, and I just shake them out and mix them in with a salad. Or if I'm out and about, I might buy like a rotisserie chicken and buy a bit of salad, and then I've got something for the evening or the next day as well. So little ideas that you can put, have a Tupperware box with you, just chuck it in there, take it with you, keep it in the car, nice and easy. But I think if you're struggling with where to get started, I'd just firstly remember that there are some deficiencies that are kind of not just linked with not having enough of one food, because remember that some of these vitamins rely on another vitamin for the uptake. So, for example, having low iron can also not just mean you're having not enough iron in the diet, but you might not have enough vitamin C to help with the uptake. So, similar with vitamin D and calcium, the two are very much linked. So just remember that when you're looking at these things, and you know a little bit more about your nutrition, you've like, okay, so I just feel a little bit tired. That's obviously probably where I'll probably come in and help you identify these things. Clearly identify deficiencies and the way you feel, and then you can look a little bit beyond that to find out which vitamins you might need that will help with the absorption of others. I'll just go for like small and sustained and consistent changes. Okay, so rather than focus on what you can't have, focus on what you can have and add that in. And then if you become educated around nutrition and you understand that yes, probably shouldn't be eating wheat products because they make me feel bloated, then you can start taking them out and obviously just replacing them with good quality foods rather than processed foods. just improve your habits. And and if you're somebody, some people say to me, "Oh, Matt, I'm an all or nothing person," which is fine. But just make sure the changes that you start to make are long term. Okay, this is why I have a big bugbear with things like like slimming pills and all those kind of these juice, like loads of these juices and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I juice foods all the time, but these juices that kind of say all you need to have is the juice, or a diet that's based around bars. This is not sustainable, and it's not. It's going to be a difficult journey, okay? Because it's a journey that you're going to go through as you go along and learn about the foods that work for you, the foods that don't, foods that help you to lose body fat, foods that cause bloating, foods that those kind of foods. So as you go along, you're going to find out all about these foods and learn about those. So just try to stick with foods rather than bars and things that are sort of less sustainable. So if you are obviously if you're a client of mine, you'll have had access to my 7-day detox plan, which you can see here in the bottom right. If you're somebody who just thinks, right, I just need someone just to tell me how to start. Well, I'm offering you the chance here with this one. You can see the web address just in the bottom right hand corner, and I'll put it at the bottom of the video when we finish recording. It's just a nice, easy way to start. Okay, it's a 7-day meal planner. It's full of vitamins and minerals, which are going to, as we've mentioned, are going to help support your health. And this is what we're trying to start off with. We're not trying to start with restriction. We're trying to improve health to start with, energize and nourish the body, so that then you can move forwards and enjoy your food, have a better relationship with food, and perhaps the way that you look at your food from now on. So there's your chance. And like I say, if you're a client of mine, you will already have this anyway. So hope that helped you. That's how we're going to get started with your nutrition and just a little bit more understanding about the nutrients that you're actually taking on board. Have a good day.